Welcome back to Let's Talk About Books. How you doing today, Michelle?
I'm great. The sun is shining. It's Sunday. Well, I'm actually not great.
Oh, that took a quick turn.
After the Canada US game today, I'm not the best, but I'm feeling hopeful for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's a little deflating to say the least. Slightly humbling. I really thought we had it for a little bit, but I guess you can't win them all, right?
I can't win them all. Wish we won this one, but whatever.
The whole time I was watching, I just couldn't help but think, you know what? They just need to kiss a little bit, like heated rivalry, and it will all be better,
I
you know?
know.
This this will just like be nothing.
Every time a fight started, I was like, kiss, kiss, kiss.
For real. We have taken a little bit of a hiatus only because Michelle was on her deathbed for a little bit,
I caught the plague.
but now we are back and better than ever. And we just wanted to do some catching up today, a little house cleaning. So tell me about your recent book endeavors, Mish. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I actually have gotten through quite a bit. I finished the Caravel series. Overall, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe if I was younger, I would have enjoyed it more. Like I understood it was YA, but I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more. It's so popular.
Yeah. Was that your first Stephanie Garber? Is that her name you read it? I think.
Yes, it was my first Stephanie Garber. And I've had those books forever. And I was like, I have to read these. And the first one was great. I just feel like the other two fell a little flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole POV situation with the books really like put me off because the first book is about one sister. The second book is about the other sister. The third book is dual between the two. It makes sense, but mostly it's just the second sister with
Hmm.
like a sprinkle of the first sister.
Interesting.
And it was never like alternating chapters. It was like 1 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 2
Hmm.
1.
And can you refresh like I feel like I have a general idea about what like it is just based off the name, but like what's the general plot of this book?
So there is this mystical sort of like performance, sort of circus esque challenge, basically. And it's really hard to get invited to this. And you have to solve clues when you participate in Caravel. And if you win, you get a wish.
Mm.
So basically, the main part of the story is that this one sister keeps writing to Legend, who is like the master of Caravel, over and over and over again, and eventually they finally hear back, they get invited, and whirlwind of stuff happens, and then there's three books.
Hmm.
So the first one was great, but the second one felt like copy paste because it was just a second Caravel that they
Mm.
went through with basically almost the same endeavors.
Hmm.
And then the third book was just like some remnants of some cleanup.
Hmm.
It wasn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't read it. I own the first one, but I have actually read the spin-off series Once Upon a Broken Heart. I didn't know it was a spin-off series when I read it. I just had heard about
I
it.
feel
I
like
thought it looked
you
good.
and most of the universe. I feel
Yeah.
like I've had so many friends say this that they read Once Upon a Broken Heart not knowing that it was a spinoff.
And I feel like it is a good enough spin-off that it's like pretty standalone. Like it doesn't have anything to do with Caraval, I think.
And
But
you
again, I
you
don't
you don't
know.
know what you're missing unless you know.
It's kind of like Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone. Like how you don't really need Shadow and Bone. It's maybe a little bit helpful for some characters' backstories, but like overall it's its own story. But yeah, in Once Upon a Broken Heart, the main male character is Jax. I think he's in Caraval.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's like the one of the protagonists, slash antagonists, I guess. And yeah, it's like him and this other girl, Evangeline. And that's a really good book series. I actually love those ones. Highly recommend moving on to those ones.
I really want to,
Mm-hmm.
and I just really wanted to get through Caravel so I could read Once Upon a Broken Heart because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just need to read things in order for my brain to feel happy.
Yes, yeah.
So I did it. I'm glad I did it. I just really didn't enjoy the books as much as I thought I
Mm.
was. I thought I was just going to get like totally mystified on this like fun journey, and it was just like a different kind of fantasy that wasn't
Mhm.
like what I've been reading recently, which was like, you know, a lot of like dragons and fighting and swords and chosen ones. So I was like, this is kind of like fun and fresh because I haven't
Mhm.
really read something like that in a long time.
Yeah, I think that the Once Upon a Broken Heart series is really fun and fresh, because it is YA, and so it's very, like, it's no smut or anything, but honestly, like, I personally don't need that in a book if the romance and if the plot is good enough to stand on its own, and it is, in my opinion. It's really like fairy tale whimsical vibes.
And sometimes you just need that, and that's
Yeah.
what I was really hoping for. And like Caravel did give that to me a little bit. It just didn't hit as good as I thought.
Mhm.
And okay, I have a question about Once Upon a Broken Heart. So, despite it being YA, I think Caravel was like low key kind of like horny.
Really?
Was like Upon a Broken Heart kind of the same? Where
Yeah.
a lot of like sexual
There's just a lot of
innuendo for
tension.
like
Yeah.
16, 17-year-old, maybe 19-year-old girls.
I will say it's been a while since I've read it. I wanna say I read it, like, 3 years ago maybe. But I just remember there being a lot of tension. It's very romantic is probably the best way I can describe it. Um,
Some heat.
Yearning, yeah, definitely heat, but I wouldn't describe it as horny per se. Romantic maybe more.
Okay,
But I really liked it.
I like that.
Yeah, and I thought that the series actually gets better. Like the third one's my favorite.
Good to know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you at least read something that's been on your TBR forever.
For
That's
ages.
a applause for you because
Woo!
I just think that's a big win. Just
Yeah.
something that's been on the shelf for a long time,
Brush the dust off her. Got it done. I will never go back.
which is the theme of our 2026 is reading the books that we have been wanting to read.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I felt like I really needed to revive my reading spirit.
Mhm.
I read Deep End for book club.
Yes.
Loved it. I thought it was so good.
New Allie Hazelwood.
Yes, I really appreciate a romance, like smut book that has lots of emotional depth to it. And I think this one did. This
Mm.
one hit very well for me. And I plowed through it, as you know. So I'm really happy I read that. And then I was feeling a little slumpy. And then I picked up Atmosphere.
Yay.
And I loved Atmosphere. So now I
Did you
feel like
finish it?
yes, I finished
Okay.
it yesterday.
We should hold our thoughts for Atmosphere and maybe talk about it next time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Maybe we can convince Ireland to read it soon so that we can all talk about it together.
Yes, I have so many thoughts to share, and I was telling her last night that she needs to finish it. She's about 100 pages in.
Okay.
She's been 100 pages in. So I think she just needs to get the ball rolling
Yeah.
again, and then we could all talk about
I'll
it. 'Cause
text her.
I
I'll put
have
the heat on.
so much. Nothing like a guilt trip to make someone finish their book.
I just think she's like the Taylor Jenkins queen. So like
She is.
she
How has
needs
she not
to
finished this book?
she needs to be at the table. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree. I agree.
yeah, but yeah, I think we can do a whole episode on that one. So we'll save our thoughts.
Yes, I have words.
Okay, lovely.
Okay.
Anything else that you've read or is that
That's about it. That's
yeah.
where I stopped. I finished Atmosphere yesterday and I am super slumpy now.
Okay.
I don't know what direction I want to go in. I don't know if I want fantasy or more romance. I was thinking about reading Part of Your World,
Mm,
or I was not sure if I should like pivot and go into like another fantasy.
mm,
So I have Spellcaster that looks like a smaller standalone that could scratch my itch that I recently bought because the sprayed edges were really pretty. Couldn't tell you what it's about. Also, I've been really thinking about Red Queen lately.
mm.
It's part of something I'm going to talk about. It's been part of my mental Roman Empire for a
Okay.
while. I feel like
Okay.
I've kind of mentioned this a couple times, so we'll
Okay.
see. Yeah. So stay tuned on what I decide to read next.
I saw you read another book called Friends in Napa or something.
Yeah, I have been reading gym books, as you know, too.
Mm.
So I accidentally clicked on that one and I said, I'm just gonna read
Once
it.
it started the 1%, you can't go back.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. So I just full sent it. I was like, whatever. I have decision fatigue when it comes to picking out books right now. Didn't really love it. It didn't hit the best.
Mhm. The cover was cool.
The cover was super cool. So I'm hoping everyone looks at my Goodreads and thinks like I'm a cool reader,
Hell yeah.
despite me not really enjoying it. The end was like really absurd.
That's fine.
But no spoilers if anyone wants to read it.
Yeah.
It's on Kindle Unlimited. Go for it. And then I'm also reading A False Start
Hmm.
by Elsie. No, isn't it A False Start? It's an Elsie Silverbug, and that's my current gym book.
Okay, I love that for you.
Yes. Now I'm dying to hear about what you have
I
been
feel like I
reading.
have so many updates. I just like I've kind of been on a reading kick this year and I'm trying to keep the ball rolling because
Heck
I
yeah.
want it to keep going. I've been on like a book a week kind of
I love that. And I feel
roll.
like we just talked about how we don't need to like read a large sum
Mhm.
in order to get like our reading validation, and I feel like
Yeah.
both of us are kind of on a really good roll now despite being like I don't need to read 100 books in a year like
That's kind of I feel like if once I take the pressure off, it's not so bad because if I think about a book a week, it's 7 days. And if I just read a little bit for 7 days, usually I can finish a whole book in a week,
mhm.
which is perfect. So, last time we talked, I was reading Fairy by Veronica Lancet. I finished that one and it was interesting. I gave it 4 stars. I did like it. It was a fun ride, but it's very weird. It's a weird book. Like it's about I think I told you it's about like in the 1950s, I believe, this woman like goes to this like spooky town called Fairy with the promise of gaining an inheritance from her long lost father who like she never knew. And yeah, just spooky stuff starts happening and like she starts kind of unraveling the secrets of this town. Very interesting premise and it just took a turn that I was not expecting. Like it literally took an
Oh,
entire genre turn. Which is it went from like gothic to fantasy real quick. And without I don't want to spoil it too much.
was that upsetting for you?
It just wasn't what I expected is all. Like I tried to like read it, like I wanted to read it for the gothic kind of like spooky elements and it just like wasn't that in the end. It was still good though. Like I did enjoy it and it honestly it was so long though. It was like 800 pages.
Yeah.
It felt like multiple books in one. It probably could have been broken up into at least 2 books, but it just like felt like they kept it as one.
Mm.
I honestly I question the editing of the book a little bit just
Oh,
because as someone who went on their own word count journey for writing, I just think that it had too many words. Too many things were repeated, like too much internal dialogue, but the story was still interesting. So I did end up giving it 4 stars, which I know that this whole rant doesn't seem like a 4-star rant, but
sometimes it's all about the vibe after you
yeah,
finish the last page, right?
it was like enjoyable, but I had critiques. Is kind of my thing. But then I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt.
I saw your review on that and I've been very curious to hear your thoughts.
I actually talked to Emily a little bit about it at book club because she loves The Secret History as well. And it's been on my TBR forever. I bought it a little bit ago and it's just like it was staring at me and I was like, okay, it's time. And like I also didn't think it was what I expected. I did like it. It had a lot of interesting premise, but I felt like it was a little had pacing issues in my opinion. I loved like the characters. The first half of the book where they're like, you know, like about Bunny and like how he's like manipulating them and how the characters are trying to like devise this plan to get rid of him kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. It was really interesting and I really liked kind of the build up to it and the anticipation of like what are they going to do.
And then it got a little weird.
But then after like when they like I found the second half of the book was there was nothing really happening. It was kind of just them like kind of internally going insane. Which I know is the point of it and that's the art of
Yeah.
it. I just felt that it dragged a little bit. And I'm so sorry to say that because I know you love that book.
Yeah, I think sometimes because this book is really heavily like academia worded, I feel like it's hard to follow sometimes. So it feels
Hmm.
kind of like it drags because the font's really small. There's a lot of large jargon. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like the people's POVs are like way smarter than I am. So like I'm like, am I following?
Hmm. There were some things I loved about it though. I loved the ending. I thought that that was really interesting and high stakes. I love the character Henry. He's my favorite character, even though he's insane and he does all this crazy shit. But I just thought like I was always intrigued about what he was gonna do next because he was this, like genius kind of like psycho character, and I like that. It's very interesting. But yeah, I think that my biggest critique of the novel is that the professor, I forget his name, but like the wise kind of kooky professor
Yeah.
was wildly unutilized. Like I really wanted to live in like their secret society world, like with this like very minimal class that is like really exclusive and hard to get in. And I feel like once the main character got into it, it wasn't really explored that much. And I was really interested in that.
Mhm.
And it became like the murder mystery, which I also enjoyed, but I just like I wanted to see more of that society and then also the professor because he was this really interesting character that was kind of not good or evil, and I
Mhm.
just like wanted to explore him, and he kind of just was there in the beginning and the end.
He almost needs like his own little novella, like a little
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. So I gave it 3 stars. I'm really sorry. I feel bad because I wanted to love it a little bit more, but I just yeah, I don't know, maybe I just didn't connect to it. But I have a feeling I don't love dark academia that much, or at least reading it. Like I don't know, I feel like I always expect to love it, and, like, same with Ninth House, Dark Academia, and I just, like I don't know,
I feel like
something
it's
about
it's
it.
it's very niche, and I feel like you
Yeah.
either love it or you either hate it.
I, like, think I love it, like, the idea of it sounds awesome, but I just yeah, I don't know, I feel like I have yet to meet a Dark Academia that I love, so we'll see. But, yes, I read that one. I then read the short story, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman for book club last month. Um, it was, like, 15 pages, so it was fine. It's like an old timey novel about a woman, being repressed by her husband. So,
Yep.
classic. And then my big one is that I just finished The Poppy War. And I won't say too much about it because I do want you to read it. And I would
Mhm.
love to have an entire episode on just The Poppy War. I gave it 5 stars, the first one.
I saw that.
It was incredible. Just like I knew it was going to be.
And now you're
Yeah.
like mad that you didn't read it sooner.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like I wasn't quite ready for it, but I was ready. I was a book that I've been wanting to read for so long. And so I was like, you know what? It's 2026. Let's read it. And I just started it and it was so good. So the character is Rin. She's our main character. And it's kind of like Mulan vibes, the first chapter,
Okay.
where like her abusive like aunt is who she lives with. And she's going to be sold to be married for her family. But instead, she decides that she wants to earn her basically freedom by becoming a soldier. And so she enlists in this war academy and goes off to train. And that's all in the first chapter. So it's not even a spoiler. And it's just like has everything I want out of a book. It has like build up where this like character is like trying to prove herself and gain all this like knowledge and strength, and then it has like the aftermath of her like kind of like becoming a little bit less naive and
Mhm.
learning about what the world is actually like. And it's just about like the cost of success and ambition, but at like what it takes to get to that point.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was incredible. So I think you're
That's
going to love it
great.
because it has everything you love, and it also has an amazing character cast. Like just I love the characters so much.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I've become so attached to them, and they're just yeah, the found family element is definitely there, which
Oh,
I know you love.
and that's my favorite. So I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna love it. Maybe I'll move it up. I don't know if I'm ready for it just yet,
Mhm.
especially with how slumpy I feel right now. I feel like I need something like quick and like borderline brain dead.
Yeah. I
So
powered through it honestly, and I am almost done the second one too. Second one is also very good. It's kind of just like a continuation. And I'm almost done it, and then I do think I will read the third one right away. But what I did this week was I did something I don't usually do, and I read 2 books at the same time. I read The Poppy War and Deep End for book club.
ah.
Yeah, because I just like I was doing the second Poppy War. It's very heavy. It's obviously like it's a lot of like war, deep fantasy lore and just like heavy. It's very emotional.
Mhm.
So then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have also this little cutesy smut book on the side and have a little break with it. So I'm about 75% done Deep End as well.
And are we liking it so far? I know like you can be a pretty big critic of romances.
I honestly, jury's still out on it. I feel like it has time to redeem itself. I haven't like had that moment where I love it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be open about it. And yeah, because I do actually like Allie Hazelwood. Like the other books I've read of hers, I do enjoy. So I'm still waiting for that moment, but I do have thoughts. So honestly, question
Interesting.
mark at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but again, also it could be my fault because I've just been reading these like really like lore heavy books.
Yeah, I mean, like, we could get into it, unpack it right now, but I mean, like, the secret history, like, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
If you really want to get into it, even like the yellow wallpaper, if you really want to analyze it, like for
Hmm.
15 pages, you could
Yeah.
burn your brain out with that. Poppy War and Fairy Tale was probably
It's pretty
a thinker as
heavy.
well.
Yeah.
And now you're
So
reading just a gal who likes to dive off boards
yeah.
looking for some BDSM.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's
I
probably a little culture shock if I'm going to be honest.
I think it is. I think it's my fault, honestly. It's me. It's not the book. But yeah, so that's kind of my updates. Yeah. And then today we just wanted to talk about some current bookish topics going on. See
Yeah.
kind of what each of us has been seeing on Book Talk, online. And I have two things I brought to the table. What do you have that you brought to the table?
I brought two or three just in
Hmm.
case we ended up with the same
I also have a
things,
backup one that I'm just, yeah, ready just in case with.
just in case. And then knowing our brains would probably
Hmm.
have like the same two or three.
I thought about that.
Okay, so my like main one was the Powerless Red Queen kind of drama
Mm.
controversy. And I feel like I talked about this a little bit not too long ago. I feel like I brought this up to you before, maybe when we were both reading the Powerless series, how it was coming out that people were comparing Red Queen to Powerless like
Hmm.
pretty heavily. And then now Victoria Aveyard is actually like kind of like clapping back a little bit with those comments on her TikTok because people are saying like this is her book is copy paste Powerless, but
She wrote it first.
Red Queen, the first book in the series, was published in 2015, and then I think the second one was either 2016 or 2017. Obviously, Powerless is very recent. I think it came out like maybe 2022, maybe.
That's crazy to say that
So,
she was the one who
so
copy
I think
pasted.
she kept getting these comments on her TikTok about how Red Queen was copying Powerless, and she's like, just a reminder, there's a TikTok, I should have saved it, where she just goes like, just so you know, this was published in 2015.
Hmm.
Now, I looked at Lauren Roberts' page, and no one's really like, she hasn't said anything towards people saying that Powerless is basically copy paste Red Queen. And I did a little diving, and I haven't read Red Queen. I've had it for a very long time. So I might get into it because now I'm kind of in the lore and I'm very
Hmm. Hmm.
curious.
I also own it too. So like if you're reading it, maybe
We
I'll read
could
it
buddy read
too.
it, and
Yeah.
I think it could be something like a quick fantasy.
Powerless verse Red Queen episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe. But I did find like I made a little list of things that I've seen people say that they've said is
Mm.
almost the exact same from the two books.
Okay.
So one, both main female characters are poor thieves. They meet their love interest by stealing a coin.
Really?
Yes. Both of the brothers in both series are half brothers. The Each of the balls get attacked by the rebellion.
Okay.
There's actually I found someone say that there was a line that was the exact same in Powerless from Red Queen that said, "Sorry, I thought you were ready" in one of the dancing scenes.
What?
I know. And then apparently the female main character is actually betrothed to the ruling brother at some point in both books. And then I went on just like an interview that Lauren Roberts had done, and because someone had asked her about like her inspiration for reading Powerless, so I was like kind of like diving on like
Mm-hmm.
both of the authors' pages, and she's just said like she's written her books based on things she's read in the past, tropes she likes, and she basically just wrote a book that she wanted to read.
Mm.
But I'm wondering if she just wrote a book she's already read.
I mean, I don't think it's any secret that Powerless is a very obviously a book written by someone who likes fantasy books, because even when I was reading it before I knew any of the controversy, I literally was like, "Oh, that's like Harry Potter core. That's Hunger Games
Yeah.
core. Oh, this is like yeah, it's not an original idea."
Yeah, I feel like you and I like really unpacked that when
Yeah.
we were reading it because I think like it could have been like an amazing series if we
Mhm.
hadn't already like read all of these books technically in this book, you know?
Yeah, and I think like I mean, there is if we're going to be like devil's advocate, like there are no new ideas. Like any single thing that's being made today has at some point been somewhat made at another point. However, it's all about taking a new creative take on it, adding something else and, not just blatantly plagiarizing. And I actually am surprised that Lauren Roberts doesn't get more heat for the fact that how plagiarized Powerless seems.
I
It's
know.
bad.
And I haven't been able to find anything yet where she's like spoken on it. And like lots of people brought this up because if you look like Red Queen versus like Powerless on TikTok, like lots of stuff comes up and like
Mhm.
lots of book talkers talk about it. And I've seen like book talkers read both books and like compare them. And this is kind of where I got my list from. But
Mhm.
like one or two like happens, but like the list is pretty significant and I
That's
didn't
yeah.
write everything down.
Yeah. I wonder so when Red Queen came out in 2015, I wonder how popular it was cuz now it's popular cuz of book talk and also like kind of this controversy, but I'm just curious that like what if it was a kind of a, underrated book? People not a lot of people like read it and then maybe Lauren Roberts read it and thought,
It was like
I don't
semi
know.
popular at the time.
I don't remember
And
it.
I got really excited because I was like collecting these slowly through Book Outlet to get
Mhm.
the full series. And then it just kind of like fell off my brain map. But now I know that I don't know if it's because Victoria Aveyard is like publishing a lot more, but like now Red Queen is starting to show up on more shelves again.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know. It's becoming a lot more like it's relevant again. Like I
Mm.
think it was relevant once, but now it's like becoming relevant again. And I don't know if it's like part drama, part because she's like publishing a lot more again, or because of this whole powerless Red
Mhm.
Queen situation.
I actually like you and I have both read the whole Powerless series. We've talked about it before. And actually my favorite book of the series is the third and the last one. I think because it's the least like it's the most not it's not unique necessarily, but like it's different. I didn't feel like it was plagiarized from anything else I have read before. Even if it had similar tropes, it's not like a kind of like scene for scene
Yeah, I think I just had
similarity.
so many complaints about how many things were very, I was like,
Mhm.
like you said, like this is Harry Potter, this is Hunger Games, this is this. I feel like that's why I didn't enjoy the first one that much
Mhm.
because I just couldn't get past how like blatantly I have read these tropes before
Yeah, I agree.
and these stories. So,
That's
but
a really good topic. I feel like that's extremely relevant, and I'm shocked it's not even a bigger thing, even how big it is, to be honest.
I know, and I want more drama on it. I
Yeah.
want Lauren Roberts to speak out on this. I know, like Victoria Aveyard has just like had enough, and then she made that TikTok that said, like, look, these books were published at this point. Like,
Yeah.
stop saying that this is copying Powerless because it's
That would
not.
piss me off if I was her. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and considering she is a pretty significantly large series. It has
Mhm.
like quite a few books in it. And she probably worked on this series and like these books for ages, considering they were published in 2015.
Mhm.
And I get it. She was reading right every like writer, you write what you know, But I guess you really knew Red Queen.
Yeah, it's a little bit suspicious, I'll say. More than a little bit, to be honest. And that is really good proof though, that breakdown. Thank you for going through all the
Yeah.
lore of
So
that.
this has been kind of like my little mini Roman
Yeah.
Empire that I think about quite often,
Hmm.
and it's been popping up more specifically just Victoria Aveyard. It's been popping up on my For You page a little bit more just
Hmm.
because I think she's been making a lot of TikToks about her new publications. So I just like kept thinking about it and I was like I need to talk about this and like
Yeah.
kind of like detective a little bit more into this. So maybe Red Queen will be up on the queue soon, and then maybe I can put more into like my opinion on what
Yeah.
how similar it is, but we'll see.
Maybe I'll read it soon too, and we can just go into a deep dive of it potentially.
Lauren Roberts versus Victoria Aveyard.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. Pivoting for mine. So I was at the bookstore the other day and I was browsing the shelves looking for something to buy, and I came across the new Wuthering Heights cover book.
Like the Margot Robbie
Yes.
cover?
Yes.
Okay.
So the movie obviously just got released, I think, last week, and it has Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. And honestly, that whole movie is a topic in itself. But what I actually have a problem with is the fact that their movie cover is on the classic Emily Bronte book. So I decided to look a little bit into it too online. And it's not just me that has a problem with it. On TikTok, a lot of people are angry that this, adaptation that is very, very off from the original books,
Mm-hmm.
that has it just focuses on the romance of Wuthering Heights, which Wuthering Heights isn't even a romance. It has romantic elements, but it's a gothic horror, and it's a tale about revenge and like generational trauma, and it's not a romance, but it's whatever way you look at it, it's fine to, maybe have this like fun, cutesy, not cutesy version necessarily, but a romantic version. But the injustice of it is putting that on the original book because it doesn't promise the same thing. So I was just curious what you thought on the whole Wuthering Heights take as
You know what?
well.
That's actually really interesting. So I haven't seen the movie yet,
I also haven't seen it.
but I really want to because I've seen like great reviews on it, but I hadn't realized really the context of like what the movie was. And that's really interesting that it's romance like forward based on like what the book really is about.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize any of this. That's really interesting that like that cover is on that book considering it's
Yeah.
such like a take on Wuthering Heights, but it's not actually like Wuthering
Yeah.
Heights.
I feel like similarly how you've been down the Powerless Red Queen rabbit hole, I've been down the Wuthering Heights rabbit hole. And I haven't seen it like I said, but I have seen a lot of like reviews online. I've watched videos breaking down like what's different about the movie and the
Mm-hmm.
book. And basically what I've gathered is that the whole movie is about basically the first like 20% of the book. So like, in the book, it's the beginning is about like Heathcliff being adopted into this family but never really accepted because he's a man of color and he's from poverty, and he's like adopted by this like rich white family, and he's never accepted even though Catherine, this like the daughter of the family, is in love with him basically, or they're best friends, but they were never accepted, or they can never truly be together because they would never accept Heathcliff. And then Heathcliff goes away. He comes back older, wiser, and richer. And then he comes back with a vengeance to this family because he's still not good enough, even though he's proven himself that he can make money, he can be a part of society. But he's still, in their eyes, trash because,
And that's
yeah.
kind of what the movie follows, like that
No.
first bit. No,
Well,
well, like
again, I don't know, but I think that the movie is more focusing on the romance of it. And I do think it has where he leaves and comes back as a
so
rich man.
so like there's no revenge in that, or is he just like more like it's focused on like him not being good enough for our our FMC, and then he comes back a little richer and better, and then they're like, oh, romance, like against all odds they can be
Yeah.
together kind of thing, or
I believe that it is still about revenge because I do believe he comes back and he marries Kathy's husband's sister. And in the book, he basically abuses her and like keeps her as like hostage, and she's miserable married to Heathcliff because
mm-hmm.
he's only married to her out of revenge. But in the movie, apparently she's just like basically a sub, like just takes it, like literally barks like a dog. I think at one point I saw a
whole
review on that, how she's like on her hands and knees barking, and I was like, oh. But again, I think the biggest problem with it though is that as much as I love Jacob Elordi, he has no business playing Heathcliff. He's a white man playing the role of a colored man. Like,
yeah, I
it's
was
ridiculous.
okay.
It really kind of, it just like doesn't, I don't know. I usually don't have a problem with like casting, and I can take like, artistic like choice generally, but I just think that casting yet another white man in a role that's meant for a man of color, and the whole point of the story revolves around how he's a man of color and they don't accept him because of it. So I just think that's a little ridiculous.
Okay, so now I'm anti movie cover on it.
Yeah.
I love the cover. I
Hmm.
actually really love the cover, but I think if it was like a true retelling, I think that makes sense. But
Hmm.
since it's some sort of, I don't know, light
Yeah.
take on what the story is about, like I think it has no business being on a cover. But I think they're
Yeah.
just trying to like,
It's just about sales.
yeah,
Yeah.
making money.
I think, yeah, honestly, my argument just boils down to the fact that I think if an adaptation is going to go so far out of the original content of the book, it should not be put onto that book. You know what I mean? I feel like Emily Bronte is rolling in her grave somewhere over this
Oh,
adaptation.
absolutely. This is a disgrace to all like Victorian like female authors everywhere.
Because it just like, as fun as it is, like, oh, let's go watch this like hot movie with Jacob Elordi. It's just like that completely misses the point of the
And
novel.
in that generation and like that age of female writers, they had to fight tooth and nail to get
Hmm.
published and be taken seriously because women are illiterate and should be, homemakers and all this other stuff. And so many of these women like went under like male pen names and fought tooth and nail to become like the recognized authors that they are
Hmm.
today. And now we're just kind of kicking that over and being like, what are women good for? Romance stories. And that's not what the book is about.
I agree. And I just think that like the taking one of the most historically
Iconic.
iconic novels ever that's like this incredibly hard-hitting piece on like race and acceptance and like the dangers of revenge and holding a grudge is just being like just kind of diluted for the mass audience just to watch a little smutty romance movie.
You know what? That was very well put.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about it because like again, I'm normally like open to, retellings and whatnot, but I just think this one misses the mark.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a disgrace to like your own novel. Like, how would you feel if someone just like really focused on
Yeah.
like bits and pieces, like, or the relationship aspect or like the romance in
Yeah.
your novel when that's really not what the entire story is about?
I think that's why it means so much to me is now as a person who's trying to create stories and write, like it just like being being the creator of it. If you're right, if someone took something that I wrote that was like meant to be one thing and then just focused on the surface level of it, I would be really upsetting. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my passionate one for you.
Well, I love that. That was actually a great topic.
I was heated in the
And I
bookstore.
hadn't really understood the lore. And I was at the bookstore mm, maybe last weekend. I was at Indigo and I looked at the cover and I kind of was like, oh, I like
Hmm.
this. Because I mean, it's very like passionate and, Margot Robbie's a babe
Of course. Oh
naturally.
yeah, they're both
And I was like, I
amazing,
kind
but
of love this cover. And I
yeah.
literally almost purchased it, but not knowing. And like, I had seen so many people give the movie such great reviews, but I didn't realize that it wasn't actually true to the story.
Yeah.
So now I'm boycotting buying that really cool edition.
I mean, you do you. You have free will. It's just my own opinion and
No, I'm standing on principle on this one.
all right, what's your next topic for me?
Okay. Have you ever seen the book talker Maddie Clark on any of your For You pages or anything?
No, but I do know a girl named Maddie Clark, so that's
Well, there
interesting.
is a Maddie Clark, and I think she lives in Paris
Okay.
at the moment. But I was just looking for some hot drama on Book
Okay.
Talk
Yeah.
recently, and that's kind of the theme of all my new and happening things. But basically, she's been getting a lot of hate as a book talker because she's very, I think she's on her high horse, let's say.
Oh.
So she basically had this video where she's roasting like book talk people who read Kindle Unlimited and kind of said like use your, she was like said Kindle Unlimited bitches. She was like, you people need to like use your critical thinking skills, stop reading like crap that is not literature. And she was roasting like the Guild series on top of that and like really judging people for reading literature like Guild. and
What?
and
It's
you
a
and I,
great series.
it's a great series. I think it's a good mix between fantasy. I think it has like emotional weight behind it. It has, people dealing with traumas. I think it has romance and the spice, and it's just like a full package.
Yeah.
And that could not doesn't have to be your cup of tea, but I think it's like she was roasting people and like really judging people for even liking any of those books, or like ACOTAR, or anything that had like smut or was like popular on Book Talk. She was like, all of you guys need to like use your critical thinking skills, and it's kind of embarrassing that you guys enjoy these books.
Wow.
That is a hot take. So she was getting a lot of hate on TikTok. Now, I've never really seen her on my For You page, or maybe I have and I just like didn't appreciate her opinions and just swiped away. But I guess she made another video saying that like she was getting lots of like death threat kind of comments
Oh my god.
on it. And really, I wanted to bring into the conversation is what book talk means to me. And I think that book talk is a community. I think if you're a bookstagrammer or a book YouTuber or on book talk, don't judge what people want to read. She's like, I only read classics, all this other stuff. I think I'd probably like save the TikTok too if you wanted to see it. But
Ugh, that's so lame.
I just think that book talk is supposed to be like a community where you find other people that you connect with, and you can bring joy to people's lives, like sharing what you love about books and like what other people love about books. And that should be the community. It shouldn't
Mhm.
be about like how much you read or like what you read. It should be a community in which you bring each other up and talk about literature that you're passionate about, and like share your love of the same books with other people.
100%. I totally agree. And that's like what reading is about. And I think that anyone who wants to gatekeep reading or think that they're higher or better than other people because they read classics or say like, just lit fic, like really hard-hitting lit fic versus other people who read generally like smut books or like romance or fantasy, like that's not okay. I feel like everyone has, yeah, their cup of tea, and no books are better than other books. Maybe some books are a little bit more like, just like enjoyable surface level kind of books, but it's still reading. You're still getting something out of it. And
Yeah,
who are you to judge what someone else is doing for their own entertainment and fun and joy?
exactly. This is an escape for some people. This is to like get away from their everyday, troubles and personal life, or it's something maybe they enjoy or take inspiration from, or it's a hobby. Don't like degrade someone's like love of certain books.
Yeah. Like it's I my opinion is that anyone who has that like part of an opinion about other people's books and what they're reading, it's meaning that they're reading for the wrong reasons, because like they're just like reading so that they can say that they read these classics and that they're so intelligent
Yeah.
and that this. So I think that it's really more about them and like what they are like trying to put their energy towards so that they can appear smarter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like people are clapping back in the comments because she had like some ACOTAR books on her shelf, like some other stuff, and she was just being like, this means nothing. Like I made a mistake and I read these, and like now blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like I just I don't know. And book talk is a community. I think being a reader is a community, and people just want to share their love of books with other people. Don't judge what people like to read.
No.
Ever.
And even as someone who, like I'm not generally the biggest reader of like romance or like the cutesy cartoon covers. However, I love what they've brought to like the book talk community. I love that more people are reading and sharing their love of books and, like finding that passion again. And even though I don't necessarily like they're not always what I pick up first, I find I still like see the beauty in it, and there was a time when that was more what I was reading. And like over time, yes, my tastes have kind of like evolved a little bit, but it's not because I think I'm smarter or that I want to judge other people's books. It's just that like I want to diversify and like
Yeah.
read other books, but I always go back to the basics. You got to have them.
Yeah, and you know what I love about these trash Kindle Unlimited books is
Hmm.
that usually the female main character is always so empowering.
Hmm.
I think it's usually someone that, has like certain sexual preferences, and they take a hold of that and they become like their own boss. They embrace their sexuality. I think it's empowering, and they find themselves beautiful in lots of these books, or maybe they just discover, certain like things that they might enjoy, and they're taking back that narrative.
100%. And I think that the rise of romance books and how popular they've become in recent years is a just like a it's a take on it's a movement, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a movement about women just wanting like liking to read about being treated well by a man, being treated properly, being respected, being like taken care of, and just, just not being treated like shit. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's just enjoyable to kind of escape into a world where there's like this respectable man, because sorry, but it's like kind of a fantasy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for real.
So, yeah, I think that that's messed up, and that girl needs to, get off the high horse.
I know. So yeah, that is on Maddie Clark, and I will probably never support or like any of her videos. Honestly, if anyone watches Maddie Clark, don't. What the heck are you doing? But if you do,
Yeah.
do you. I love to focus on people who love reading, and there's a couple that I follow. I think one girl's called Grace, and there's one called Kaylee. Kaylee's the one, I don't know if you've ever seen her book talk. She always has reading dates with her grandma,
Oh.
and that really hits home for me because I
Mhm.
used to do that with my grandma.
Aw.
And I love those book talkers because they're always positive. They talk about what they love and what they're passionate about, even like hobbies and what makes them happy during their day.
Yeah.
They're always positive of other females who read, and they're just like happy. And that's what book talk should be about,
Hell
is
yeah.
that just like creating that happy community and sharing what you love with other people.
I agree. And one last thing I'll say is no matter
Yeah.
what people are saying, don't send death threats. That's
It's
messed
not that
up.
deep. If someone says that you're a dum dum for liking Akatar, don't send them a death threat.
No, it's don't do that. But other than that, yeah, warranted.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next, shockingly, we haven't had any twin topics.
Overlap.
Shocking. Okay, so my next topic is that Rebecca Yaros, author of Fourth Wing, just posted, I think in the last couple days, that she was alluding to that she was writing the next Fourth Wing, which I feel like that was already given, considering that the series has been on the move.
It's been rolling.
But it was alluded that she started writing the Fourth Wing book.
Mm-hmm.
And then on kind of additionally, Sarah J. Maas released that 2026 will be the release date for the next ACOTAR, sometime in 2026. Still yet to hear what that title is of the book and who it's about. I think most people think it's going to be about Elaine, but TBD. But where I'm going with this is that it begs the question. I saw both of these announcements, and for me, I just thought about ACOTAR and Fourth Wing, about how they're having all of these sequels. And I just wanted to know, at what point do you think a series should end? Like, what? For me, Fourth Wing has just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of stalled a little bit. I know you haven't read the last
Onyx
book.
Storm, yeah.
And then same with ACOTAR. Like, there was kind of a clear ending to ACOTAR, and then there was kind of another clear ending to ACOTAR. So I'm just curious what your take is on these series that kind of refuse to end, and like when you think that these big uh like series should kind of just be done.
Well, in a perfect world, all series would be 3 books. I love a
A
crispy three
good
books. A
trilogy.
good trilogy gets me every single time. And I hate when they drag on.
Mm-hmm.
And an example of a good long series is Throne of Glass. That
Mm.
was very well done. But that had a lot to get through for everyone to have kind of like that final like clarity and for the story to wrap up properly.
Mm-hmm.
Akatar has been wrapped up and that could have been left. So in that regard, I feel like we really didn't need that really janky Christmas special novella. I could erase that from my brain and I will never need it again.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, we're kind of like minor Nesta haters too. So like, it just feels like that book was unnecessary. It was super long, and like, I guess it was like adding to the timeline and the story and the plot, but like, it didn't need to.
Yeah.
I would have been fine never knowing anything about Nesta ever again. And I feel the same way about Elaine because personally, like all of the novels, she's a wet blanket to
She's
me.
the least interesting
She's
character.
so
Yeah.
uninteresting, and maybe this is her kind of revival story, but I don't know because I didn't really feel that much better about Nesta after I read
Mm-hmm.
all like 1,200 pages of her book.
Have you read the last Crescent City book?
No, I was kind of keeping that as like a standby. So when the next one came out, I can like read two at a time. So that's
Right.
kind of what I've been doing with Onyx Storm too, is that like I just can't keep reading these and then waiting years and then having it like completely erase from my brain and then reading a new
No,
one.
that's so fair. I was only gonna say because I can't say what my theory is on the next Akatar because you haven't read The Last Crescent City, but I have a theory, as I've said for a long time now, but I'm not gonna say it yet. But I will keep that locked and loaded. But I feel like what the difference is between what you said, like Throne of Glass, how it's such a really good long
It's
series,
a
is that
well-rounded series.
yeah, exactly. But I think the difference is that like that series was clearly planned from the very beginning to the end. Like from the small details that are in the first book that show up in the last book, like you just know that Sarah J. Maas planned that entire thing. And then Akatar, I feel like have just been adding they've just been adding books out of sales. And like where it should have had a clear ending after the third book, they were like, "Oh, we'll just keep going because it's so popular. It's going to make money either way." And it's just like adding stories that don't need to be told. But
I agree with that.
yeah, I then with Fourth Wing, I don't know. I feel like the last two books have just kind of been like that classic meme picture of like the horse drawing about like how the first half of it is like the first book and it's so well and detailed and then it just gets worse and worse over
Yeah.
time and it's just like a little stick figure drawing by the end. It's kind of how I feel about Fourth Wing, and it's sad because the first Fourth Wing was so
Was
good.
incredible. And I know that like the second book had
Mixed
like
reviews, yeah.
sequel-itis, where the second book is usually like the groundwork for the rest of the series, and it's usually the most boring in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't
Yeah.
heard that many good reviews about Onyx Storm either. And I mean, how many?
Iron Flame was fine. Onyx Storm was mid, in my opinion. And I just like I will read the next Fourth Wing and the next Akatar, so maybe I'm a hypocrite, but I just yeah, I don't know. I just think that nothing kills a series more than just letting it continue on
Like
without any
drag
direction.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like same with most TV series. Like they just get renewed and renewed until they just have nothing to say anymore. And then it's clear that the series should have died
Pretty
a
Little
lot.
Liars. How
Exactly.
many A's are there going to be? Stop just
Yeah.
making a new A.
Yeah.
And they just kept like adding to the plot, and they're like, it's finally over. And they're like, just kidding.
Big one, Grey's Anatomy should have ended like 10 years ago.
10 main cast member deaths ago.
I used to be a diehard Grey's Anatomy fan, and I haven't watched it in years because it got so boring and I hated all
They
the
just, and there's
characters.
just more, like, was there like 20 some like seasons now?
Yeah, and it's still going, and it's just dumb.
Like,
So
when's it
yeah,
gonna stop? When everyone from like the first season's dead? Like,
I don't even think I think there's maybe like two cast members that are from the first season now, and yeah, it's just like I think that I don't know, just write a different series. You know what I mean? Like
use that energy that you're using to try to like drag on this series, like Nesta's book. Maybe let's use that energy and make something new.
yeah, and you know that if Sarah J. Maas announced a new series, it's gonna be just as popular as like the next Akatar because like she's huge. Honestly, same with Rebecca Yarros. Probably if she announced a new fantasy series, huge. Like
Yeah,
it just I feel like let a series be what it is. Let it be genuine to the original story and what you wanted to tell from the beginning, and then like yeah, write something new.
I feel like maybe I know you hate like side character novels, but like maybe if she'd even just like developed like one of the side characters into like their own like series.
Yeah, like a like say a spin-off like Caraval to like Once Upon a
Yeah,
Broken
like
Heart. Like let it be its own thing.
let's pull
Mhm.
some characters from Akatar that really don't have like final endings and put them on their own adventure even. You
Totally.
know,
Like away from the main cast.
let like Rhysand and Farah have like their happy ending, and then let's like plop in this side character who's on like a new quest, and like let's
Totally.
get the band back together in a different way, you know,
Yeah.
instead of just like dragging on Nessa's like depresso espresso stair master journey. I don't know.
Her oh yeah, I won't even go into it because I could talk about that book for a long time.
Another
But
45-minute episode on Nesta.
yeah, I just think, you know, don't kill your series. Like don't drag it on. And unfortunately, I feel like both of those series have kind of done that.
Yeah. Well, it leaves you with kind of like a weird taste in your mouth, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt good about it when I finished reading it, and then you're adding on more, and now it's like
Mhm.
it doesn't feel complete.
And who knows? You know what? Maybe the next Fourth Wing and the next Akatar is gonna just blow me out of the water, and I'll be eating my words, and
Stay tuned.
I'll be back, and I will apologize if that is the case. I will. I can admit when I'm wrong.
Stay
And
tuned to see if Ava eats her words or
yeah,
not.
exactly. And if my theory is correct, perhaps I will. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my last topic. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
I have like a little quickie one just because
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot too. Um, Colleen Hoover's new book,
Oh my
Woman Down,
gosh, how have we not talked about this yet?
because it just like I think that maybe I talked to you about this too, how basically this new book came out and she has described it as a steamy psychological thriller. But basically it's about a canceled writer who tries to reignite, and I think reignite her career basically. And I know, did we not just
Is
talk
that her
about writing what we
memoir?
know? Like, yeah. And I have just interesting thoughts on that I guess like write what you know in your own experiences and everything, but this is like a blatant cry for help maybe. And I want to show you this TikTok. She looks like a shell of a human in this like Amazon kind of like advertisement for her new book. She looks like she's being held at gunpoint.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, she looks so different.
And like the filter and the Botox, like
What happened to Colleen Hoover?
In my new psychological thriller, Woman Down, we follow Petra Rose, an author whose career is hanging by a thread after devastating public backlash. Desperate to reignite her creativity, she retreats to a secluded lakeside cabin for one last chance to save her career. But everything changes when Detective Nathaniel Saint arrives at her door. As he becomes her unexpected muse, the lines between Petra's fiction and reality begin to blur. Her words flow again, her creativity ignites, and she's never felt more alive. But
so once for one, I don't know if maybe it is Botox, but her facial features don't move once.
Oh my goodness.
She looks like she's been held at gunpoint to talk about this book. And then two, she's literally talking about a canceled art like author that's trying to like revive her career.
Art imitates life.
Like is this a cry for help?
Do you think like her publisher or her agent told her to write this as like a kind of redemption thing, or do you think this was her idea?
I don't know. And this is like
Like it seems like a parody book. Just the like the concept of it. It's I will not
and
be
like
reading
look at
it.
her face. She looks so upset.
She doesn't look very passionate about it, which kind of honestly, again, kind of all the controversy aside, that kind of makes me sad because like Colleen Hoover used to be very expressive and very like passionate about her books and very like I don't know, she was a little quirky, but she's always been very like upbeat, and that is not like that is not her.
This
Who
is
kidnapped Colleen Hoover and who is that?
yeah, this is like the other Avril Lavigne. Like this is not the real Colleen Hoover.
Oh, maybe it's the trial. Maybe it's the new trial going on. Actually, maybe we should talk about that too. A little side tangent.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's interesting. Do you think you'll be reading that book?
I don't know. I haven't. I what I've seen, there's not good reviews on it either,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Like people who like Colleen Hoover are still gonna read Colleen Hoover. I just think it is what it is, and I mean how they made it, it ends with us and all that other stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Colleen needs to blame Blake Lively for some of that because
Yeah.
I feel like part of the movie issues is with Blake Lively.
Yeah, I guess actually another topic I didn't even can't I'm shocked I didn't think about earlier was that the trial of Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively started, I think, last week. And I actually have not looked into it whatsoever. I don't know how it's going. I don't know who's
Maybe we'll do
seems
that
to be pulling ahead.
the next
We could
episode.
do a full
We
breakdown.
will unpack that. Maybe we could unpack a little bit more into Colleen Hoover and
Yeah.
maybe try to find the real Colleen Hoover.
Yeah. I would be super down because honestly, like, I would love to just like really research it a bit more because I think all I hear is about like TikTok clips, and I honestly don't know whose side I am on because I I don't know. I feel like they both have done weird things and they've both kind of contributed to this mess of a movie. Um I want to know how everything went so wrong. Like
I
I
know.
don't know. It's weird. And actually, I don't even hate the movie, which is kind of crazy. Like I think the movie's fine. It's very similar to the book. It's like almost the same. So, yeah, I don't know. It's I just want to know how it went wrong. And I also want to see the Justin Baldoni cut because I know that he wanted it to be a very different style of movie, and I'm just curious to see how that would have been. But
Yeah.
yeah, interested to see how that turns out. Who wins the trial? And I don't know. Maybe someone has one, and I just don't know about it.
Meanwhile, Colleen Hoover's just crying for help.
Maybe this is like draining her. Like this whole
Yeah.
thing. Honestly, it probably is.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's on Colleen Hoover. I'm excited for reminders of him. Have you
Yeah.
seen the previews yet?
I have. I'm interested, and we should go to the movie theater and watch it.
Yes, I was hoping you were
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Yes, we should do it for real. I always say that I want to go watch a movie, and I never do.
Until it's like on like Netflix,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I guess I should watch this.
I don't know. I just like I feel like by the time I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go on this day. It's done.
It's not in the theaters anymore. I'm the exact same way. I need to take advantage of like cheap Tuesdays again. Like,
Yeah.
get back on my movie grind. Don't let movie theaters die. I feel like society is dying if movie theaters are dying. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
I will die in that
I love a
hill.
movie theater. I just yeah, I don't know. I don't make. I've never been one to go all the time. So, but yeah, we should go. So, what do
Yeah.
you think you're gonna read next? Red Queen?
Maybe Red Queen for some research purposes
Mm-hmm.
because I do kind of really want to dive
Dive
into
into that.
this more and actually see the comparisons. Now, I did read Powerless. We read Powerless like a while ago now, but like I feel like I would be able to
It's pretty fresh. It was like in the summer.
I feel like I'd be able to like connect the dots, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to ruin Red Queen for me either because I'll just be
Mm-hmm.
thinking about like how I'm reading the same book again. But
Hopefully, there's some differences.
maybe this is like Powerless is like a old Navy tracksuit, and Red Queen's kind of like the Aritzia set, you know. So we'll see.
I hope so.
If not, part of your world is still on my radar.
So good. I love that book.
So we will see.
Okay.
I
yeah.
made sure I sat down and stared at my bookshelf for a bit before I came here to kind of think about what I was going to read next. And you were going to ask.
I think that what you should do just to make sure that you don't get into a slump is just pick up a book, read the first chapter. You
We'll
don't
send it.
Yeah. Don't even like think about it and you don't have to read much. Just start it. And then it's like it's started. And once it's started, it's easier to continue. But right now I'm just finishing the Deep End and the Dragon Republic, which is the second Poppy War. Honestly, I'll probably be done those. At least one of them I'm gonna finish today because I want to read. Maybe tomorrow. I'll finish both of them, and then I don't know what I want to read next. I feel like I went to the bookstore, and what I bought when I was there, enraged about the Wuthering Heights cover, I saw a new edition of Rebecca. It's like a modern classic because I think it was in the 1900s. I've always wanted to read it. It's like, have you read it before?
No,
No?
I don't think I have, at least.
From what I've gathered, it's kind of like the OG Verity vibes. Like second
Interesting.
wife moves into house with her husband, and then kind of like her like his first wife died, and kind of the presence of her is like causing her to go insane. So that sounds right up my alley, and I kind of want to read it. I did buy it, and it might be the next one. Depends also what we read for book club because that might pivot things.
Sway. I
If
want
it's
to
a
be reading
choice.
like two like of the
Yeah.
same genre, or I'm reading like one like I need my brain power book.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read two brain power books or else burn out my brain.
Anyway, anything else?
No, I think that's all.
Slay. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We will see you soon on Let's Talk About Books. Bye.
See ya.